I played such a game on my cheating wife that I finally got my satisfaction. My name's Ethan Carter, 36 years old, a network security specialist living in Arvada, a quiet suburb just outside Denver, Colorado. For 6 years, I thought I had it all. A solid job securing corporate networks, a craftsman-style home with a view of the Rockies, and a wife, Lauren, who I believed was my partner through thick and thin. That was until I saw those texts on her phone. They shattered everything. But the real gut punch came when I realized who she was texting. What did I do? Let's just say my revenge was cold, calculated, and unforgettable. It was late September, the air crisp with that Colorado fall bite. Lauren had been off for weeks. We used to spend our weekends hiking the trails around Red Rocks or grabbing burgers at Cherry Cricket, washing them down with IPAs from Great Divide. But lately, she was glued to her iPhone, her fingers flying across the screen, a secretive smile flickering when she thought I wasn't looking. She'd lock it fast if I got close, muttering something about work stress. Lauren was a project manager at a tech startup in Boulder, so I let it slide at first. My job's all about spotting patterns, though, and this one was screaming trouble. One Thursday night, she said she was meeting a client at a coffee shop in Lodo, Denver's nightlife hub. She kissed me quick, grabbed her keys, and left her phone on the kitchen island. A rare slip. It buzzed, lighting up with a notification. 8 p.m. Ratio Beer Works. Don't tell Ethan. The sender? Ryan. My pulse spiked. Ryan who? We'd always shared everything, from Netflix passwords to the code for our smart thermostat. I grabbed her phone, hands trembling, and typed in her passcode. Our wedding date, June 15th, 18. The screen unlocked, and what I saw hit me like a freight train. Hundreds of texts between Lauren and Ryan, stretching back months. Miss you so much. Last night was unreal. Ethan's gone next week. Come over. My vision blurred as I scrolled. There were photos. Lauren and this guy at a rooftop bar in Lodo, her laughing, his arm around her waist. I knew Ryan instantly. Ryan Thompson, her old college buddy from Colorado State. She'd introduced us at a tech mixer last year, called him just a friend. I'd bought him a Coors at the bar, laughed at his lame sales guy jokes. Now those moments felt like a setup. The worst blow? A text about Ryan coming to our house in Arvada while I was at a cybersecurity conference in Las Vegas 2 months ago. Our home, where we'd grilled steaks for Labor Day, where our golden retriever Max sprawled across the rug. There was even a photo of them on our couch, Max's tail wagging in the background. I wanted to smash the phone, but I didn't. I'm a network security guy. Impulse isn't my style. I took screenshots, uploaded them to a secure cloud drive, and started planning. Revenge isn't about losing control. It's about taking it back. What would you do if you found out your spouse was betraying you in your own home? Most people would confront, yell, maybe cry. Not me. I went silent, methodical. Keep listening, because this is where it gets interesting. For the next 2 weeks, I played the part of the oblivious husband, made Lauren her morning latte, asked about her day, even suggested we plan a weekend getaway to Estes Park. All while I dug deeper. Lauren's phone had location sharing enabled from a camping trip we'd taken last summer. She'd never turned it off. I tracked her to Ratio Beer Works in Reno, Denver's artsy brewery district, where she met Ryan twice a week. I also learned Ryan was the sales director at her startup, and they were prepping a $5 million investor pitch for a venture capital firm in Boulder. That was my in. Lauren's startup used a cloud-based project management system I'd set up for her when she started the job. She never changed the admin credentials. Classic oversight. Late one night while she slept, I logged into her work laptop from my home office. Their pitch deck was polished, full of startup buzzwords like disruptive innovation and scalable growth. I didn't trash it. That'd be too obvious. Instead, I tweaked the financials, bumped up expense projections by 15%, shaved revenue forecast by 20%, added a few accidental typos in the cash flow slides, subtle enough to slip past a rushed review, catastrophic enough to make investors run. But I wasn't stopping there. Ryan's LinkedIn bragged about his sales record, angling for a VP promotion. I used a phishing trick, basic stuff from my cybersecurity playbook to access his work emails. He'd been inflating sales numbers to impress the CEO, skimming small amounts from client expense accounts to a personal PayPal. Sloppy. I planted anonymous tips in the CEO's inbox, forged to look like they came from an internal whistleblower, pointing to discrepancies in Ryan's reports. I also found out he'd been promising clients discounts that never materialized, pocketing the difference. I saved that for later. Was I crossing a line? Maybe. But when you find out your wife's been sneaking around with her college buddy in your own home, ethics get a little blurry. What happened next? Stick around, because the real fireworks were coming. The night of their big pitch, I knew Lauren and Ryan would be at the startup's office in Boulder, polishing their slides. I drove to Ratio Beer Works, where they'd planned a post-pitch celebration. I sat in a corner booth, Rocky's cap pulled low, nursing a stout. They walked in at 9 p.m., laughing, Ryan's hand brushing Lauren's as they ordered hazy IPAs. My stomach twisted, but I stayed focused. I'd already called in a favor from Lauren's best friend Megan, who I'd told everything. Megan was pissed. Lauren had been her maid of honor, and this betrayal stung. She agreed to help. At 9:30, Megan texted Lauren, posing as her assistant. Client emergency. Investors want to follow up now. Get to the office. Lauren's face drained of color. She grabbed her bag, pecked Ryan on the cheek, and bolted. That left Ryan alone, sipping his beer, clueless. I signaled the brewery manager, a guy I'd tipped $50 earlier. I'd told him Ryan had a habit of forgetting to pay his tab. A white lie. The manager marched over, voice loud enough for the whole bar to hear. Sir, you need to settle your outstanding bill before you order again. Ryan's face went crimson as heads turned. He fumbled for his wallet, muttering excuses, while the crowd whispered and smirked. Humiliation. Check. But that was just the appetizer. The main course came the next morning. I'd sent an anonymous email to Lauren's CEO and HR, attaching screenshots of her texts with Ryan, timestamps showing they'd been meeting during work hours, and a note about their unethical relationship violating company policy. I CC'd the investor group, framing it as a concerned employee, worried about the startup's credibility. The pitch had already bombed. My tweaks made the financials look like a train wreck, and the investors pulled out, citing serious concerns about fiscal responsibility. By noon, Lauren was called into HR and suspended pending an investigation. Ryan's falsified sales report surfaced, thanks to my tips, and he was demoted to a junior role, his VP dreams crushed. But I had one more card to play. Ryan's PayPal skimming was the final nail. I sent a detailed file to the CEO, anonymously, with transaction records and a note. Check Ryan Thompson's client expense accounts. By Friday, Ryan was fired, and whispers of a fraud investigation were spreading through Boulder's tech scene. Lauren came home that night, eyes swollen from crying. Ethan, please, it was a mistake, she begged. I love you. I slid divorce papers across the kitchen island, my voice steady. You love me so much you brought him into our home. Sign these and leave. She sobbed, but I was done. I'd already rented a condo in Denver's Highlands, a fresh start with a view of the mountains. I didn't stop there. I knew the startup's board was meeting Monday to discuss the fallout. Using old admin credentials Lauren's IT team hadn't revoked, amateur move, I accessed their internal server and scheduled an email to the board, attaching every piece of evidence. Ryan's skimmed accounts, Lauren's texts, the doctored pitch deck's impact. I framed it as a security audit from an anonymous consultant, warning about systemic vulnerabilities in their leadership. By Monday afternoon, the CEO was under fire for failing to catch Ryan's fraud, and the board launched a full audit. Lauren's suspension became permanent termination. Ryan's name was blacklisted in Boulder's tight-knit startup community. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my new office at a competing firm in Denver, hired as a senior security consultant with a six-figure signing bonus. My condo's a block from Tennyson Street, where I grab coffee at Allegro and hike the trails on weekends. Lauren's living with her parents in Fort Collins, jobless and humiliated. Ryan's working some low-level sales gig in Albuquerque, his tech career toast. Me? I'm not the same guy who trusted blindly. I'm sharper, stronger, and I sleep just fine. Why am I telling you this? Because sometimes justice isn't handed to you. You have to build it piece by piece until the scales tip in your favor. What do you think of my revenge? Drop it in the comments, and if you've got a story like this, I want to hear it.